Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Inside Out. Thank you so much to the Wench Film Festival and to Sapna Bhavnani for creating a platform for women to showcase their work. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here, and I'd like to just take a few moments, because Sapna's asked me to, say thank you to all the people who've gotten behind this festival. Thank you so much to Whistling Woods. Meghna, I love your work. Thank you to Midday. Thank you to Movie Saints for hosting us, and a massive shout out and thank you to everybody in the entire community of the hairdressing and makeup industry. I've got some bigwigs from the industry chatting with me today, and I'm going to take no more of your time. I'm going to introduce all of them after I tell you a little bit about the concept of Inside Out. Forgive me if I do read a little bit, because the people in the room have got long introductions and a great portfolio of the work that they've done. So forgive me if I read a little bit about each and every one. But first, Inside Out. If movies are the means to weave a story and suspend reality, then hair and makeup are the means to immerse the viewer into the life of the characters, adding authenticity to existing design choices. Here with me this evening are some of the artists who add realism to with their magic touch. And I'm fortunate enough to have either collaborated or worked with every single person bar one on this panel today. And it gives me great pleasure, no more pleasure, to spend a Sunday evening chatting about hair and makeup. So first I'd like to introduce 𝐏𝐞𝐿 𝐎𝐼𝐻, who needs really no introduction. Hi, Alim. I'm going to talk a little bit about... Hi, Alim.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to give you a little bit of an introduction. You come from a distinguished lineage of hairdressers. Your father has styled superstars like Amitabh Bachchan and Rajesh Khanna. 𝐏𝐿 Hair and Tattoo Lounge is now a chain. Your business is completely self-made, and your contribution to films is something that we'll talk about a little bit more. You, I think, are as famous, as popular, as loved as the stars that you style. And thank you so much for being here with us and chatting with us.
Thank you.
What's your favorite film, Alim?
Favorite film?
What's your favorite film that you've worked in?
What I've worked in? I can't say. I really enjoy working in each and every kind of film, you know, different genre. I work in Hindi films also. I also work in Telugu, Tamil film also, which is its South film industry. So everyone has a different take when it comes to styling. You know, some of the directors are very serious about when it comes to hair and makeup. You know, they take a lot of interest when designing of a film is part of. And some of the directors, they leave it on the assistant directors. They don't think that, you know, hair and makeup is so important, and they think, okay, the assistant directors can look into it. But somehow I don't enjoy doing that, because for me, if director is the captain of the ship, it's very important for a director to look into each and every department. And, you know, hair and makeup is very, very important. And there are so many movies which I have done where hair has been, you know, being talked about, like movies like Sanju, Kabir Singh, Bahubali, Robo. There are many, many films, you know, where people have spoken about hairstyle, like Rockstar and movies with Sanjay Dutt. There are a lot of actors in the film industry. So my favorite, I can't say anything which I have worked. My favorite has always been one movie which is an old film, which I have worked on. Maybe Sanju recently, you can say that, because I have also got a chance to work on different looks, and I really enjoyed the film. There were 6-7 different hairstyles, and I've been doing the original character's hair also for a really long time, and to do the same hairstyle on Ranbir Kapoor was good fun, you know.
Super. Super. Thanks, Alim. I'm going to introduce the rest of the gang, and we come back and chat a little bit in a few more minutes, okay?
Yes, yes,
so
please.
Next up is Zubi Johal. I have never had the pleasure of meeting you. I'm meeting you, Zubi, for the first time this evening, and you specialize in prosthetics. Zubi is a postgraduate in ceramic and glass design. She is the co-founder and managing director of Dirty Hands Studio. I love the name, which is one of the leading prosthetics and FX studios here, I believe. They provide ultra-realistic prosthetics and effects for films. It's really lovely meeting you, Zubi. Thanks for coming and chatting with us.
My pleasure.
I think if you were to explain exactly what is prosthetics in a few short lines, could you do that for us?
Yes. So basically prosthetics, easy way out is it's divided into 3 parts. One is where you apply the cosmetology onto the person's face, where basically you're changing, say you're aging the person, maybe you're just changing the nose. It's more like cosmetology. The second part is props, where, say you want a dead cat or a snake. So we have animal rights.
As you do. Okay.
So that's the second. And the third one is with special effects. That's basically your action sequences. So say a slit of throat, something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And is there a proper professional term for a person who specializes in prosthetics?
Yes, SFX makeup.
SFX makeup. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for joining us, Zubi. Like I said to Alim, we're coming back. I'm going to introduce everyone and talk a little bit about what they do. And then we'll all get into a discussion together. Thanks for joining us, Zubi.
Thank you.
The next up is my friend, Savio John Pereira, who is a hairstylist. He is an award-winning hairstylist with an impressive clientele that includes many celebrities. Sav, as I like to call you, has accolades to his name, both Indian and international. He represents the Indian hairdressing industry and has been part of the jury and judge at OMC Hair World. And I can tell you that's no mean feat. A dear friend and a motivator to everybody in the hairdressing community. We love you, Sav. How is it to deal with celebrity clients? What's it like dealing with celebrity clients?
Actually, it's not challenging. Maybe over the years, you kind of learn to deal with them. But I guess if you are professional and if you know your stuff and if you're confident with what you're kind of talking about, how you want to style it, what you want to style, what exactly you have in mind, and I guess you've got the right attitude with them, it just works out perfectly fine. Yeah. So I've never really had a problem with any celebrities as such, but yeah, you go on over there and so yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Sav, for being with us, and everyone actually for giving their time. Sav, I'll come back and we'll chat some more in just a few minutes once I've introduced the rest of the gang.
Yes,
okay?
Yes, we will. Let's do that. Yeah.
So I'd like to introduce another lady who needs no introduction. This is Namrata Sony. She is a renowned hair and makeup artist. And I think Bollywood has you on speed dial. Is that right? Namrata has a vast experience, and her exceptional and unique style has reached audiences in a range of mediums, from magazine covers to feature films and ad films. Her work is featured in the world's top publications, and Namrata has a host of award-winning films to her credit. Namrata, thanks so much for joining us in this discussion. I know you must have a lot to say about everything we're going to discuss today. But I wanted to ask you one particular question, which is, what do you think is the most difficult part of designing a look for a character? And if you wouldn't mind, because we have so many hairdressers in the room, if you could speak a little bit more from a makeup perspective, that would be, just make it a little bit more fair. I can't hear you, Namrata. I think you're muted.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
I can, yeah.
So I think the most difficult aspect of designing a makeup look would be actually everything coming together. So that's the costume, the hair, and the makeup. Sometimes makeup is not on the forefront where a look is concerned until and unless we're doing a period film or a drama, because in the current modern world, it's all about less is more, let the natural skin show through. So honestly, that is more difficult than doing period makeup and doing cinema makeup, where you are layering it on and you're having fun with, like, say, dark eyes or glitters and all of that. So it definitely is the character of the actor who you're working with and the script of the film that makes a massive difference.
So what do you prefer, Namrata, fashion or film?
Both. I love fashion. I absolutely love fashion.
Diplomacy.
But honestly, every time I said no to a film, more came my way. So then I stopped saying no. So I love both.
Lovely. Thanks for joining us, Namrata. Thanks for agreeing to chat with us tonight. I'm going to just introduce the last, but by no means least, of this lovely group of humans. 𝐸𝐴𝐵𝐴𝐵 Contractor is, besides being my business partner, a hairstylist extraordinaire.
Hi, hello everyone.
Hi, Abu. Thanks. I know everybody on this panel tonight is in the midst of some project or the other, and you're just like, join me by the skin of your teeth. So 𝐸𝐴𝐵, you are absolutely like my sister, and I hope that I can get the opportunity to discuss this whole thing of us, our relationship and films. And like I said, it's really nice to be able to spend a Sunday evening chatting about the work that we do. Thanks to Sapna for organizing this. We've worked together for like 20 years now, 𝐸𝐴𝐵, and I hope you'll agree with me that it's been a great 20 years. I think I hold you responsible for the game-changing work of 𝐷il Chahta Hai, and the work that you've contributed to actually the Indian film industry for taking taking a closer look at how a character is actually created. Your clients don't move without you. I think they hound you, right? From the salon, from the film. I think you work in film. You like to create the whole film. I know that personally you don't like to do just a small part of it. You like to take on the whole project, and that's you. You're an amazing taskmaster. I think you have a fantastic understanding of the language of film, and I think you've mastered your craft to the most minutest detail. My question for you, 𝐸𝐴𝐵, is how do you start off when you have like every single strand of hair of every single cast member to design? How do you start that process?
I think obviously the first step is to read and get a sense of the script and get a understanding. I think what really kind of gets exciting is when you go with your ideas to the director, and without them really having given you a brief of what is in their mind, you share your thoughts and you're on the same page. So you've got the sense of the film completely, of how the director's what the director's vision is. So I think that is quite exciting, and that really gets the ball rolling. And then it's actually having that person in your chair to understand what their hair actually does, and then working from there, quite frankly, to build that character.
Super. I think to Namrata's point earlier also, we kind of get clubbed together, right? Hair, makeup, wardrobe, because we're creating the look of that person. So it's a lot about teamwork.
Definitely. I think it's everything from makeup to costume plays a huge role. And so does, to a large extent, production design, because if the set or the setup of that person's environment is not kind of gelling with the look that the person's carrying, then that might seem odd, you know, in this space. So I think it's all of it. So filmmaking is teamwork. You can't have, nothing can go without the other, I think.
Awesome. So can we ask everybody to come back in the screen now? And thanks, Arvan. I'm so glad you could make it. I couldn't have imagined doing this without you.
Thanks, Rod.
Thanks to everybody else for being here. I just have a couple of questions. And like I said to you all earlier in the day, that it's really just open for discussion. I watched the film festival, the Wench Film Festival last night, and there was some really interesting conversations that happened. And I know that when we get in a room and we talk about hair and makeup and what we do, it can be really interesting. So I'm going to ask an open question to all of you, and whoever would like to sort of chip in or discuss, then please feel free to go ahead. Until recently, until very, very recently, I know that everybody in this platform today has had their work recognized in film in some way, shape or form, but officially awards have never really, or for a very long time, were never really given to hairdressers and to makeup artists in film. Why do you think maybe that was?
Oh.
I don't think they recognize us as a department that deserves an award.
Well, that's precisely my point.
Yeah.
I don't think
because it's
important. I'm not lying to you. Until recently, I always felt till COVID hit us, it didn't matter if we felt sick or we were tired or we were shooting for 24-hour days. It did not matter. We would still have to come back the next day at the same time to shoot, with no rest at all given. Today, because of COVID, I do feel that a little bit has changed, where they do consider our timing and our health and give us that importance and allow that safety to come first, which I think is, it had to take a virus for that to happen in our industry, but it's happened a little bit, I feel.
Thank you, COVID.
yeah.
I mean, no, but yeah, I mean, it's sad, but it's really true.
I know, 𝐸𝐴𝐵, you've received an award from the industry. Namrata, you have received an IFA award as well. When did you receive yours, 𝐸𝐴𝐵?
I have not received any award. I got some award, but I don't remember the name of the award.
Okay. Okay.
But, yeah,
We need some awards.
Yeah, but you know,
okay, I must have just assumed, because I think everybody in this room deserves an award, that's for sure.
So
Yeah.
honestly, I don't think there's a category. I think firstly, all award function, I mean, all award, what do you call them, platforms, there is no, in the technical category, there is no award category for hair makeup.
correct.
If they choose to give a particular film, it's just for that film for that year. But there's no category consistently over the years that you can then be, you know, that kind of talks about your work or talks about the work of this artist within the industry, you know. So that's a bit of a, you know, it's always a little of a downer, I feel. Not that you need the award or the recognition in that sense, but I just feel that I almost find it rude to not include hair makeup as part of the category.
Why should we not want the recognition? We work really hard.
Yeah.
We work for
I think
22
every
hours
other
on set.
department has a representation. Every other department in the film industry has an opportunity to get an award. That's right, isn't it?
True.
Every single other department.
Yeah, more or less, yes.
And normally
when
you
you-
have
It's
awards for
just in
special
India.
effects.
Internationally, there are every award has hair and makeup category.
That's something internationally.
So it's only in
and
India that we
makeup
don't
comes in.
have a category for hair makeup. You have one for costume, and I think costume again is fluctuates. I don't think it's
Combination of all,
consistent
right?
every year, or it's not consistent with every award. It just depends. But because they're not looked at something that is building the character or the film, or that's adding to creating that. So it should definitely should, and it must. It's about time.
Yeah, they don't even have an award for special makeup.
I was
Exactly.
just going to ask you, 𝐬𝐸, what the kind of work that you do. I mean, well, we in regular hair and makeup, we work for hours to create those looks, and prosthetics is taking it to a whole other level, right? In terms of prep time in the chair.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that, 𝐬𝐸.
So it takes longer on the prep time. I would say 4.5 hours, sometimes even 6 hours. And to get that silicone appliance ready, it takes about a month and a half. So it's a pity that we don't have a award section for special effects, because I think the work that we did for Tumbad was quite nice in comparison to, I haven't studied in a particular school or a college for prosthetics. So, I learned it through trial and error. So achieving what we did in Tumbad, I felt it was very underrated.
Well, I think it's there's a lot to do with first movers, 𝐬𝐸. I think it's while regular hair and makeup has yet to sort of receive an official recognition. I think we should all be lobbying for this, and I do believe that this is on the cards for Wench Film Festival, by the way. So they are going to honor the hair and makeup department in film very, very soon. Sapna, correct me if I'm wrong. But I do think that is going to happen. The other thing I wanted to talk about, and whether, and this is also to you, 𝐸𝐴𝐵, to you, 𝐸𝐵, because
and also if you see the running titles, also the credits for hair and makeup is always in the end. There is no consideration except for few. If you signed a contract with them that okay, your name should be in the initial title, only then they will put your name. Otherwise, they don't bother who has done makeup, who has done. Okay, it comes in a staff. It comes in a staff of an actor that they so and so person has done makeup. There is no credits given to hair and makeup.
𝐸𝐴𝐵, for us, it's very different, because, for example, if I made somebody muscular, the actor doesn't want us to get credits at all, because they say it's and I just feel that, an actor needs to play so many roles. He can't be muscular, he cannot have a long nose. So suddenly it comes under psychology, and they're like, no, we won't give you credit, because in front of the audience, it should be that he's made his body. So
I think it's important to
very,
ask.
very strange.
There's something that I've realized over the years, that unless you don't ask, you won't get. So it's something that you make it mandatory in your agreement.
I completely agree with
I would
Avan.
get opening credit for the work that I'm doing, because that's the least I can get.
Yeah, because I've mostly seen Avan's name in opening titles. Be Blunt, designed by Be Blunt. Avan
We learned
contract.
it.
I've mostly seen that, to be very frank.
Yeah, because I feel if costume and everyone needs to be up there, we need to be up there. So I think some films, depending on the title sequence, it depends on the title sequence, but it means that you have to be upfront on the main title. So whether sometimes there are no opening titles, and the opening titles happen at the end of the film. So it depends on the title sequence, but yeah, it has to be up there with the rest of the key crew.
Also, the contracts, they don't like there is no respect for the contract of a makeup artist or a designer for a film. Okay, I had to really fight, when I'm signing a contract with any production house. Why contract with the hairdresser? We'll pay you per day, we'll pay you a fee. Okay, why there is a contract? they don't believe, they think, okay, if actor has signed a contract with them, we come as a staff of an actor. Okay, so they put our remuneration in actors' remuneration, that so and so your staff is going to charge. But they try to run away from signing a contract with the hairdresser or makeup artist.
True.
What happens when the last schedule happens? Okay, when there is a last schedule, 20 days, 25 days, then they don't want to pay your last schedule money. They run away. They say my accounts are closed, my books are closed, and they don't pick up your call. And when again the same actor is working with the same production, they start calling you back. Okay, your last payment is left, so and so. Just do a barter system or do a mandatory or do in lesser price. We will pay you this last amount. So,
Man,
there is a lot of
case.
unethical stuff. Yeah, it's a lot of unethical.
But I've not gotten paid by so many movies till date, Alim.
That's what I'm
till
saying.
date,
That's
some of the biggest production houses, and I've not gotten my money.
That's what I'm saying.
Like you said, last schedule, they don't take your calls. I've still not gotten almost 6 to 7 films that I've done. My last schedule, I've still not
there has to be some kind of unity amongst us that we can fight back with such production houses. Where our contracts are tightened up. We should be united with each other, and we should be in a link with the same kind of contract what we all sign. So at least they will be ready. That you can't take it.
Sorry, forgive me, but that's why we were supposed to have a union in which women have now been allowed to come in the last 5 years.
Yes. Otherwise, they used to not allow.
For the last 20 years of my career, and I have been physically dragged out of movie sets by union members. And it's been a horrible experience working with these people, but they don't have our support. They're the ones who are supposed to go and take care of us if something happens. But till 5 years ago, women were not even allowed to work as makeup artists as per
That's
their
really
rules
sad,
and regulations of the industry.
Really.
I don't even have a makeup card because they said if you don't do normal makeup, you don't get a makeup card.
I still don't have a card.
So the industry is not divided.
I still don't have a card. Even though they've made it, you can go and apply for a card. I said, you'll not support us from the time I started. It's always been a very sexist industry. A very sexist industry. I said, today y'all are giving me a card. I'm still not, I don't want your card. I'm not interested.
But who's made this union? Where's the beginning of this union? What are the rules of this union? Nobody knows anything. It's just that if you have to work in the industry, you have to have this card.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a card, they'll come and charge you a fine. But what is the support that you get from the union? There's nothing, right? So, I mean, I think all of us continue to work in the industry without a card. Without a card.
But Avan, it's been, as Namrata said, I've had so many instances where I've had my, my girls, the female staff who've been working on set, and then the union starts harassing them, and then I've got to go all the way.
Even we've had where they've asked producers to pay up or, have asked us to leave the set. And it's invariably by union hairdressers or union makeup artists who come to do extras and things like that. That is how they tip off the union, and they just come. I mean, touchwood, in the longest time, it has not happened on a set I have been on. But I know it's happened with my team for sure.
But after this discussion, it will.
It's definitely happening. They're all landing up on our sets.
They still land up on my set. And honestly, I can't be bothered. Do what you want. And it's
no, so I think... My understanding is that I think it was there was a time in the industry where there were hairdressers and makeup artists who didn't come with it was more of a lineage that happened. It was more of a learning on the job kind of a situation that happened, and it was and I think there was no educated hair or makeup artist there. I think 25 years ago things changed, and a whole bunch of us came into the industry and brought a certain amount of technique and knowledge to the craft. And I think that is when the shift happened. And they felt threatened, right? They felt threatened about their job security, and fairly so. But instead of going and saying, okay, I'm going to learn, though I have to say there are a lot of hairdressers over the years whose children have come and joined our academy and have become hairdressers, or have joined maybe at the time Fatmo or whatever, and become makeup artists, and now are out there in the industry working. So, some of them, a very small percentage of them, have realized the importance of the right education to move forward within the industry. But I think there is a large amount of people who are still, you know, feel entitled that because they've been there, they need to kind of they have the right to the job.
It's
but
legacy.
actually,
It's legacy. Your mother was a hairdresser. You become, if you're a boy, you become a makeup artist. If you're a girl, you become a hairdresser.
So it was
It's
something that
legacy.
was created by them, right? And now it's time somebody showed them the mirror and said, you can't do this. It's not constitutionally right, you know. So I think it has changed and it is changing. And I think it is up to us to make that shift and make the change even more definite.
True.
We've
Or you had a question for us?
Finally, they had to give us
I just want everyone to be aware that we have about 15 minutes left. Sapna asked me to throw the elephant in the room, and you all have just handled it amazingly. So I'd like to end well, we've got just 15 minutes left to go. I want to end on a bit of a high. So let's talk about the creativity aspect of it. You know, we don't have directors and producers to defend themselves in this forum tonight. So we get to talk about everything that we want to talk about. Sapna's created this space especially for us. So let's talk about the creativity aspect of it. Like, how do you bring your own ideas then into the work that you're doing? Because we all recognize that filmmaking is a team effort. It is
a team effort, or it's a team effort. Obviously, we as a hairdresser, we give our expertise when it comes to it, okay? But when you're working on a film, obviously you're working on a character, a particular character. So it's not, and also you have to break the ice that the actor is also a star who has a very strong image with the fans and with the audience. So how you want to break that? Like when I was doing Kabir Singh is a doctor. Actually, he's a surgeon. But for me, surgeon cannot look boring for the eyes of the audience. He can be in the character, but he also has to look attractive, adorable, you know. And he's in India when we work on believable.
You know,
in India, when we work on films.
I agree with you, Alim, on that, because the same thing happens in makeup most of the time. Everybody's like, you know, like I've had many experiences where the directors come and say, we don't want any makeup on the face. We want them to look natural. But I have an actress sitting on my chair who has dark circles that are reaching the end of her nose.
Yeah,
I mean, she's not going to allow me to let her look on the screen with dark circles and pimples and discoloration on the skin. So it's my job to make sure that she looks like she's wearing no makeup, but at the same time she looks beautiful but simple. But it's such a battle sometimes with directors to make them understand, because they're so used to seeing their actors come in for readings with no makeup, without a stitch of makeup, and then suddenly they see them without their dark circles or without any pigmentation, or you know, with a little bit of mascara and a little bit of lip balm.
The same actor who believe in this kind of directors, and after 5 years they come in, this director made me look so bad in the film. This director made me look so bad in the film. Because they wanted to make him look so real and so organic.
And we get blamed for it. We get blamed for it. Couldn't you stand up?
I'm saying there is organic. See, this word organic is also spoiled. Organic. There is organic food. What is there something organic about us? You know, we all get ready. We take shower. We wear good clothes, nice perfume. There is nothing organic.
And when people want to watch,
I think it needs to, the organic feel has to also be a designed organic. Okay, so I don't think it can be. It's not like you can get out of bed and go and shoot. That's not what it is. And I have to say that I've been extremely lucky to work with directors who absolutely understand and want have the same vision and want the same things, and they've been actually instrumental in persuading actors. Though actors might have hated it, they've been instrumental in persuading actors, because otherwise, without the director's support, it's impossible to create looks on actors that are. So I think I've been very lucky in that, to have that support and belief from the directors in me to do that. So I have never really faced a challenge like that. I did early
You're so
at some
lucky.
point when it did not an actor just did not want to do cut his hair, and finally we just left it, and then it was there on screen for him to see what it did to that character, you know. So that spoke for itself.
Yeah.
So I think,
Yeah,
But it's not always that easy, you know. Like we have, like you said, I've also been really lucky to work with some amazing directors who trusted me completely with setting an entire look. But I've also had the set of directors and producers and actors who've not wanted to even cut 1 inch of their hair or even let me pluck one extra hair from their eyebrow, even because as a makeup artist, Zubi, you'll realize this, how important eyebrows frame your face,
Yes.
and how important it is to create that particular look, especially if you're doing a period or drama film. You can't have bushy eyebrows in the 1950s when they had pencil eyebrows, you know. So sometimes it's really hard to explain that to your actor and to convince them to do that, and especially because they want it to be a certain way or they have an image about themselves, you know.
For
Yeah,
me,
that's the
it's
biggest
a different
challenge.
Sorry.
and quite honestly, when I've not had the support of the director, I don't think I've ever worked with a director again.
You're so lucky.
I've only worked with, you know, people where
That's
there
sweet.
are who actually understand what I bring to the table. It's really, otherwise it doesn't work for me, because I just don't feel good about it at going home at night and going to bed. It'll annoy me. I know that.
But you know, Avan, sometimes you do it for your actors. I mean, I'm sure Alim has faced this, Aduna has faced this, Zubi, all of us have faced this, where your one actor who you work with very consistently will call you and say, you have to do this for me. Whether you want to work on that film or not, sometimes you are pushed into that direction because of
I
pressure
think most of the time.
that's
Yeah.
come your way. It's
True,
happened a
true,
lot
true,
to me.
Completely agree on
I
that.
relate to you.
That's what I
My
meant.
There's always a
Bollywood
little give and take. There's
style.
always a little give and take, and you have to push that envelope a little bit and try, and you know. Yeah, I think that's what I've been lucky so far. And when it's not worked out, it's just not worked out for me. So I've not done it.
I think for my work, they know that they have to sit for so many hours, so they sit quietly.
Actors must grab you. Yeah.
Come into the van, it's 10 minutes. And they've
I
got
don't
your
know.
hair and makeup done. It's so hard. Sometimes
I
I'm sure
think
Alim's faces, they've come in, Savio, you faces, they've come in like 2 hours late and they have to be on set at 10 o'clock and we've got 20 minutes to do hair and makeup.
Yeah, that happens a lot. That happens a lot. Yeah, for
That's
sure.
why
That
Savio
happens.
is always wearing dark glasses.
my
Nobody knows if
challenge
I'm
is
watching them or I'm sleeping. I was like, what's happening? Yeah, you know what? Because I want to be one of them, right? So I kind of like, okay, let's be celebrity. Let me be the no.
No, I think one of the things that I also wanted to talk about was challenges as a woman on a film set. Is there anything you have spoken about other challenges, but specifically, Alim and Savio, you could also answer this on behalf of your team or your colleagues or whatever. But being a woman doing the work that we do, is there any specific challenges that you think are women related?
But nowadays, in last 3-4 years, you see a lot of girls being on the set, being in the costume designing, hair, makeup. It was not the same like 7-8 years back. People used to find very odd when there was a female team member in any actor's staff. There used to be a staff boy, driver, a makeup artist, dressman, everything, all a boy. Only a secretary could have been a girl, but rest everyone were boys. They used to find it very odd. But now in last 4-5 years, there's so many girls who are on the sets. They're working very hard. They're working more than men. They have better strategies. They're more organized. And so many assistant directors who are female assistant directors. So many, costume stylists. And even most of the male actors, they prefer having 1 or 2 or 3 female crew member around. It's a good balance of a team also.
Yeah.
So that really works. Yeah.
No, because for all the girls who come on set to work, Of course, one part of it for mine is, where I'll always kind of take up responsibility along with their family or friends or whatever stuff, because parents were always worried of sending their girls on set, so it's like, Savio, hope they're going to be taken good care of, timings have always been a problem, girls are kept back late. And that's something where I take up responsibility and ensure that, there's someone always kind of keeping track of the girls, making sure that they're dropped home, they're picked up, if they
What
have
about
morning shoes.
what about
I think that
basic
is one of the
stuff,
biggest
ladies?
challenges about
What about
travel in the
basic
middle of the
stuff?
night, especially in Bombay. I think when you're on an outdoor shoot, that is taken care of. But I think when
Yeah,
you're in Bombay and doing night shoots or rapping late at night, I think that is basically a challenge. I mean,
Still,
we make still with for the production to at least drop our team till Ola Uber point,
yeah.
if they can't drop them home, but we make sure that the team is dropped. Yeah.
what about
But
stuff
again,
like Avam? What about stuff like the washroom, for
I was
example?
just
I've had the
about to say
biggest
that.
problem. When I started off,
yeah,
the actors would not let us use the same washrooms, right? Because of it used to be one toilet in the vanity vans. And we used to fight with production to make sure that there was there was one vanity van which the girls, because we would be two or
I
three
remember
girls on
those
set,
days.
they
Yes.
would expect us
Yeah.
to use the same dirty toilets that the entire crew was using. And it used to be really difficult. And I remember when we were younger, we suffered from so many, I'm sorry to say, UTI problems, because we would never drink water, and we would fall
True.
sick because we would not want to use the washrooms.
Mm.
That was such a big issue for us when we started off. And luckily for me, I
yeah.
had a lot of female directors that I started working with, like Farah, and a
Same
lot of good
here.
production
Yeah,
houses who took care of the female
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think I've faced any kind of issues being a woman. I think, in fact, I've always been, I've kind of grown up within the industry with very women-centric crew. Like a large portion, there used to be a time when we used to see the crew and we're like, oh my God, there's so many women here. So I don't think I've had that. And there have been, I've been on crews where maybe I could have been one of the few women as well. But we've always been taken care of. I don't think I ever had an issue being on a crew where it was, yeah. And if it was, then they would have heard of it
we also
long
Yeah,
back.
no,
take care of
no, no,
it. Yeah.
but that's true, because even when when my girls are going on shoot and all, one of the first concerns and one of the first things I kind of make sure I check with production is for the restrooms. You know what I'm saying? Because girls always face that problem, and then it's like, so I that part of it is taken care of. Very very important. So
Today
I
it is.
completely go with
Today
you,
it is.
ladies, over
Today it
here.
is taken care of. But 20 years ago, it
No.
wasn't
Oh yeah,
taken care
Yes.
of.
Yeah. Yeah.
true, true.
It's people like you guys in the room who've paved the change, I think. Sort of by being, there early on and going through the experiences that you've gone through, other people coming through in our industry are going to benefit from that. And
Yes.
while it
Yeah,
sounds
for
like
sure.
Namrata's saying it's a hardcore story in her life, I mean, it's true, and it was absolutely real. But I think the next generation of hairdressers and makeup artists will
They
benefit from
are already
from
benefiting.
our struggles. Yeah,
They are
they are
already benefiting.
benefiting. Oh yeah, they are
We know
benefiting.
that. We know that.
And
We know
that's
that.
actually a topic. That's actually a topic, Avan, that we could have a whole nother 1 hour
Oh my
session
God.
on.
Oh my God. Yes,
Totally.
for sure.
So I
Yep.
think, unfortunately, we are going to have to wind up in the next 3 minutes. And unfortunately, even more unfortunately, Alim has already left the room. I just want to say thank you to you guys for giving your time and to chat with us, with me and with each other. And I really think that there is so much more we could actually chat about. Like I said, couldn't think of a more fun way to spend a Sunday evening.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope
Thank
you
you
Uh,
so
enjoyed
much.
on,
it.
Thank you, Wench.
But you know what, Odd, thank you so much for moderating this. But one thing is for sure, Namrata, Zubi, Avan, or, happy Women's Day in advance,
Thank
you know.
you.
Hey,
And
Thank
it's
you.
one thing about our industry, especially for me, it's like, it's very, very women centric. I am where I am today is because of all these beautiful women, from your family, friends, and of course, today's odds over here, and all of you beautiful women. So happy Women's Day. And yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Happy
guys.
Women's
Thank you, Sara.
Day.
Sapna, thank you.
Thank you,
Sapna.
Sara. Thank you, Wench.
Thank you, Wench. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Lovely to meet you,
Lovely to
Zubi.
meet you, Zubi.
Same here.
Bye, bye, guys.
Bye,
Okay,
bye,
guys. See
everyone.
you all soon. Take care. Have a very happy Women's Day.
Same to you. Thank
Thank you,
you.
ladies.